In an earlier video, I went over slotting the new fingerboard for my Epiphone Wilshire. Now I'm gonna get the shape routed in and the binding installed. I bought this guitar off Reverb as a little gift to myself to celebrate quitting nicotine and came to the unfortunate realization that the truss rod nut was completely stripped out and I was outside of the return window, so now I'm fixing that. I used an MDF template and a flush cut bit to get the shape of the fingerboard in and then went in with my Dremel binding bit to add in a channel the perfect width for the binding. I then went back to my router to clean off those edges because there was a little overhang left behind by the smaller bit. This next step was the most time consuming by far. I had to take this flat slab and sand it to a 12-inch radius. I clamped this 2x4 to my bench to make sure that my sanding beam had a straight reference and kept sanding until I had a consistent radius across the board. I may have to look into those radius routing jigs because the sanding by hand thing is not my favorite. After what felt like days of sanding, I was able to get the binding on. I used a special binding glue and some tape to keep it in place. I made sure to get the tape on there nice and tight for a solid bond and let everything sit overnight. The next day, I unwrapped the fingerboard and checked it out. There was a lot of squeeze out and I have a lot of cleanup ahead of me, but the binding stuck on there really nicely. I flushed up the end of the fingerboard to glue up the last bit of binding, and now this thing is almost ready to go onto the guitar. Let me know in the comments if you want to see the rest of this process in future videos.